Hey everyone, I'm Barbara Niven, and I play Suzanne in North to Home, and we're so excited to share it with you this weekend. I play Suzanne, who is a mother to 3 beautiful daughters. Yay! Sort of like my own life, only I only have one. And I have 2 of them here today. I can't wait to share them with you too. I have Kimberley Sustad, and I have Erica Durance, and also our amazing female director, Ali Liebert, who you've seen act on Hallmark as well. And this, Ali, this is your first foray into directing too for Hallmark, isn't it?
It is, Barbara.
And you were amazing, honey. So I want to talk to you about the movie, plus also you guys have been so kind to send us questions about it too, because I know they've been running commercials for it and teasing it all during the holiday season. So besides saying Happy New Year, now we want to share this movie with you too. So let's see what the fans have asked for everybody to talk about. Okay, in North to Home, the Mcbride Sisters reunite for the first time in 5 years. Can you tell us what brings everybody back together? Ali, how about you?
Well, they all come back together to celebrate the 60th birthday of their mama. 60, which you play.
Yeah, but we did a really good thing. 60 is really only 30 times 2, right? So that's what they wrote on the cake.
That's
right.
correct.
Super cute.
So no matter how you spin it, 60 is still 60.
Yeah.
So Kimberly, what's your main storyline in this movie?
Well, I play Beth, one of the sisters, the middle sister, and she's sort of at this crossroads in her life where she's a stay-at-home mom, used to kind of have a big career, and is in that space where I think a lot of moms have found themselves in an identity crisis of sort of what to identify with, not just being a mom, but also not just being a wife, but also really wanting something else that's just hers and not in this position of servanthood, which I think a lot of mothers can often feel like. And she's sort of in this struggle currently as to which way to go. And this is kind of her trying to find her identity throughout the movie of herself and what she wants people to see her as, or if that matters at all.
I think we've all been there. I think that's something. I think that it's not just women, but we all, I feel like we go through different stages in life where you've sort of done that, and then maybe your family needs you in a different way. And you see, I remember the first time I sent Jessica off to kindergarten. You know, I was a wreck in the car, and I pull up and she doesn't even look back. She just runs in there. And so all these little things come up, and it just shows you that, so I've been this mom, and then what's next? And I think that you played that so beautifully in the movie too, because you're torn. It's not just easy to do one thing and try and break out of what somebody else expects of you.
I think as mothers, you often feel guilty for pursuing your own thing when you feel like your kids need you. But then when you're with your kids 100% of the time, you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't feel like you exist as a person.
You don't even take a shower.
Yeah, so it's a struggle to just be here doing a live video. I have a 4 to 6-year-old, and I was stuck in line at Costco, like, I don't know, half an hour before this going, I honestly cannot get them out of Costco. I'm dead. So here we are.
You did it. It's a victory for womanhood again. Mothers unite.
Shoving chicken fingers and French fries in the car back them and trying to get...
Multitasking, Kim. You're a hero. You did it.
Erica, you were just telling us that your oldest son is watching your 2 kids right now too. So
yeah, and he's wonderful. And he does a great job. But then sometimes I come down and it's like I have 3 young children. So... But yeah, it's funny. Kim was saying that I just right before this video was running, and we were out with the kids, and I was like, I gotta walk them. So like little puppies, you gotta take them on a walk. And so we went on the walk, and then Liam, my youngest, decided he's like doing a sit-in. He was done, and so he just sat there, and I thought, I'm about to do this thing. Mommy needs to get home and I got to do this thing. Please get up. And he's like carrying me. And I'm like, I can't carry you anymore. And then
because they know
like,
what is going to bug you the most. Yes.
Pardon?
And look at you. You even turned up with fancy earrings.
I know, I had to do it. It's one of those things that for me, I was like, I'm going to wear the earrings today because
I feel like all you ladies had time to do your hair.
I don't have kids,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I just have dogs. I have grandkids and they're not here today, thankfully. I mean, I love them, but the best thing about being a grandparent is you love them, you spoil them, and then they leave and you pick it up fast and that was
good
Freudian.
night, children.
So, Erica, can you tell us about the sister that you play and how she relates to the family?
So I play the eldest sister named Hannah, and all of us come from some things in our past that were really wounding to us, and it forced a type of growing up in Hannah that maybe was a little early for her. And so her world is successful based on her ability to control things and to just keep moving. And so she lives in a big city. She's got this high-paced job. She moves. She can kind of check off all the boxes and say, this is my success and this is how I define myself. And then she has to deal with the fact that she finds out about her potential pregnancy and what that would mean. And she didn't plan to do that in her life. And she didn't want to be a mother. She's afraid of all of those things. And so she is redefining herself because of these major changes. And she likes to avoid things. So coming back for the birthday party, although she loves her mother and she wants to do that, she also would prefer to just, send the card, send a gift, and then just keep working really hard on the next project. And so her world, is kind of forced to a standstill, and then she has to deal with a lot of, a lot of her fears, and it's not comfortable, and it culminates in some really lovely little fights between sisters. And I mean, that'll be juicy for whoever was watching it too, because they'll be like, I do that all the time with that sister and the other one, I know. So I thought as well in this movie, they did a really great job of playing with some pretty usual dynamics in sibling rivalry. So, yeah.
Ali, what do you think
dear.
This movie means to you and to, family dynamics and sisters are the same pretty much all over. You learn to fight with your sister, but you also learn to love ferociously and protect them at all costs. But it's not linear. It's not easy. What does this movie represent and mean to you?
Great question, Barbara. Well, I think that this movie, well, I'll start by saying I don't have a sister, but I have cousins and I have a little brother and I have friends that are as close as sisters could be. And I think one of the things that I love most about this movie is that the sisters and Barbara, everybody goes through a journey in this movie to be brave enough to tell the truth and being honest about what's really going on, even though it's painful, it brings them closer. And I think, in my family especially, I think that when we hold our cards too close to our chest, we don't let people in. And I think what I love about this movie is that, that stubborn sort of, I can do everything alone starts to crumble. And then, the characters realize that they have family, they have people who will love them no matter what's going on. So I think that's one of the things that I really love about this movie. And I know that that's been true in my family as well, having those hard conversations, having those hard conversations and then healing and then growing from that, as opposed to just this, I'm going to do everything alone. I think especially, nowadays it's like, let's have those hard conversations. Let's be close, as close as we can be.
Yeah. I find that in my life, secrets are what have kept me sick. And I speak on eating disorders. I used to have an eating disorder, and I speak to people, and everybody's got some secret that is it just feels so like a monster inside and you don't want anybody to see it. You just want to keep yourself safe. And what I loved about Suzanne in this is she's had this secret and this guilt that you know, when you have a secret, you have guilt for it too. And it affects every bit of your life, no matter if you push it away, you just keep, you know, not dealing with it. It affects everybody else in your family, everybody else in your life. And finally, I love that it comes out in front of the family, and there's this beautiful healing that happens. And there's a character who has a conversation with me, who comes back in, and he says, you know, maybe it's time to forgive yourself. And that moment touched me so much, because I think everybody can relate to that, because we beat ourselves up so much for the things we do or the things we don't do. And just to be kinder to ourselves helps you be kinder to everybody else as well. So I think people watching will be healed, hopefully, and learn that it's not too late to change. It's not too late to just be truthful and be honest and move on together with somebody else.
Absolutely. And it's all those things that are unsaid, right? It's I totally agree with you. It's like the secrets keep us sick. All those things we don't say, if we have an opportunity to speak the truth to someone, even if it may be uncomfortable, what's on the other side of it is so much better. But we're terrified to have these hard conversations, but
with ourselves too. It's just easy to step down. Sorry about my dogs out there. This is, you know, it's kind of a zoo around here. So this is Maggie, by the way. She loves being on camera. So she wanted to come in the spotlight too. This is little Maggie.
So cute.
Okay, we have some more questions here. The Mcbride sisters, this is a good one. The Mcbride sisters have chosen different paths in life and learn to lean on each other when they start to rethink their future plans. How does rebuilding their sister bond help them discover something new in themselves? That's good. Kimberly? Erica?
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of resentment that each sister holds secretly toward each other, which is often when you're dealing with something, it's so easy to resent somebody else for that very thing that you're feeling. And when the honesty starts to come out and everybody gets honest with one another, the resentment sort of heals itself and is it just sort of goes away. For some reason, last night, it's coming to mind, my kids really love the Berenstain Bears. And there was this story that Ari picked, and it was about how they just all woke up on the wrong side of the bed, the family, and they were all just at each other all day, and like no one wanted to sit beside each other on the school bus, and everybody was angry, and Papa Bear just like walked out, stormed out, yelling at the kids, and Mama Bear had it with Papa Bear. And by the end of the thing, Mama Bear was pretending to read her book on a chair at the end of the book, and the sister bear is like, Mama Bear, your book is upside down. And she's totally busted for not reading it at all, and everyone just started laughing, and everyone just got real and vulnerable and hugged, and they were laughing at how ridiculous it was for them to be angry in the first place at all. Like, we all just have feelings, and none of them are anybody else's fault. And when we own our own feelings, we can let go and forgive everybody for the things that aren't their responsibility. And yeah, I literally thought about some very similar questions to that last night during the Berenstain Bears, where I was like, wow, this is actually a really big truth, you know, that a lot of what we're feeling, we think is somebody else's problem, and it's really not. It's just ours. And when we learn to forgive ourselves and let go.
And then that last thing you said in the book about you laugh together, because laughter is so healing, and you realize that all those things you put on, they're just ridiculous. It's just kind of ridiculous. When you think about the big picture, you know, who cares if you didn't pick up your socks? Although, pick up your frickin' socks, please.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your favorite qualities about each of your characters, ladies? Erica?
Well, it's funny about qualities that you like on one side of the coin can be very helpful, and the other side, if not tempered, has the adverse effect. I really liked Hannah's leadership, her ability to when she had to, she did step in and take a great caretaking role, and with a lot of empathy. And I think that there's something lovely in that, her ability to step in and care for. But in that realm, then she started to push down how she felt about things. And so the very thing that she went out and did well, she questioned her ability with it. So it's kind of we're all a little bit contradictory and that sort of thing. But I think the essence of her ability to push through things and to work really hard and needing those things to prove to herself are also really great qualities. But as this seems to be the theme in our conversation today, sometimes it takes big things in life to make you stop and be more honest. And then you have to kind of maybe reassess what you see is a really great quality and go, oh, actually, it's okay for me to sit back too and be thoughtful and vulnerable and honest. And so, yeah, that's all I got.
That's great. That's great. How about you, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think Beth has it's similar to what Erica was saying. Some of our greatest strengths can become our greatest weaknesses, and it's sort of figuring out the balance between the two. But I found at first, when I first read Beth, she was a bit prideful in the way that she went about things, which I think when you're a mom, there are so many moms like this, the ones that aren't self-deprecating, but the ones that sort of try to hold everything together just so. And they take a certain amount of pride in that because, well, this is your identity right now, and why not do it well? But the deep down struggle and the truth of it is this insecurity about that particular identity in the season of being a mom. And one of the things I found Beth to be really profound or courageous for was admitting that she was wrong by the end of the movie, for upholding other people to the sense of responsibility that she thought they should be living by, when really she knew that she needed to let those things go, and life is more in a balance than so finite. And I think it takes a lot of courage to admit that you're wrong, especially when you've been trying so hard to campaign for the job that you're doing and that you're doing it well, and trying to maintain that sort of sense of dignity and wiping poopy bums and
like my mom used to say, don't let the neighbors see what's really going on, kind of. It's that whole thing. It's about getting honest and I loved, it was so beautiful. Lindsey Fonseca is not here today, but you guys are going to love her in this. She plays a third sister, but it was so cool on set to see you when you guys got together, how you'd just be sitting there just chatting away, laying on the bed, eating or whatever, and tickling each other and just loving each other. And you just didn't feel, it was weird, but from the very first day, it felt like we were a family. Like we cared about each other.
Well, and Barbara, you brought that too. You were like mom immediately as soon as you came onto set of everybody.
I made you call me mom. I know.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my identity too.
Well, it's such a beautiful and very warm leadership that you bring to a set, and it allows other people to feel that they can be vulnerable as well. Because you really never know what you're going to get on a set. Yeah. Everybody kind of gauges at first.
Yeah.
As a caveat to what Kim was saying, I wonder if there's something along the lines of, we have these qualities and we think we're really good at those things, but maybe that is why we need our families and we need the closeness in our families and people in our life, whether it's, there are going to be people that watch us that maybe don't have siblings, but they have people that are their chosen families. And it's those people that will reflect back at us things that maybe we don't see in ourselves. And that's what I thought was really powerful in a couple of the scenes that we had, where one sister would take the turn to go, you don't see that gift in yourself? Of course it's there, And so that's what I liked about this movie too, is it brought in the element of those really dear people in our lives that can also help reflect back the things that we don't think we see. And then we in turn do that for them. But because it was fractured, we kind of were in our own little world spinning about, you know, it felt like. And then there was some healing, and then you were able to kind of make those discoveries about yourself and go, oh yeah, that was always there, you know?
Yeah. You need a reminder from outside eyes, loving eyes. You know, the whole thing we've been talking about what a great set it was and how it's family, etc. And Ali, that comes from the top. That comes from you. You set this set culture in this. And I know you guys have seen her in so many acting parts. And what has this journey been like now that you are a celebrated director now, and this is your first Hallmark movie? What does that mean to you, and how different is it, Ali, from acting to directing, and which do you like the most?
Wow.
I know
Barbara, that's like a 5-part question.
I know. Well, maybe we need to do this more, and because I think people need to see other people who step out of their box and out of their comfort zone and still grow, because you inspire me. Yeah, exactly. But you inspire me so much to, you know, I've not directed. I've directed scenes and things like that, but I've not stepped up to direct this. What kind of challenge was that for you? And how'd you start?
Well, I was born in Surrey Memorial Hospital. Well, to give the folks out there just a snapshot, I've been directing, I guess, almost for about 3 years. I've written and directed a couple short films and a couple other MOWs, but this was my first Hallmark movie. So was still present day, a really big jump for me, and I'm so appreciative to have had the opportunity. You know, I've always been interested in directing. I think about 10 years ago, I started kind of shadowing on sets as much as I could. Barbara doesn't care.
Yeah, no, I had to let Maggie down. She said, enough, Mom.
She's like, I don't want to hear about directing. Snooze, put the actors back on. But yeah, you know, there's so many things that as actors help with directing. It's, you know, we've all been, you know, this group of women have been on sets for years and years and years. And what's really cool is there's just so many things that you pick up along the way as an actor that just fill your knowledge piggy bank. And, you know, whether it's a bad experience on a set, like, hey, when I direct, I never want to treat people like that, or the opposite, like, wow, I really thought the way the director handled this situation was really cool. You know, it's obviously a lot more responsibility, but I really enjoy the challenge. You know, learning the technical side of directing has taken time, and
that's what scares me. I think I could do the performances, but the technical stuff, it just seems like this huge leap. And how did you do it? Did you have a good DP? What did you do? And I know you guys, just to set the scene, you know, you've seen her in so many acting things, including playing Georgia, who was engaged to Kevin, my son, on Chesapeake Shores. So
we had a great scene together, Barbara.
Yeah, we did. That's where we first met. And Ann Wheeler was directing us in that scene, wasn't she?
Yes.
In that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the technical stuff, I mean, for anyone listening out there who wants to be a director, I just say, even if it's on your iPhone, just write and direct a short film, just so you get a feel of the technical stuff. And you don't need to know everything. You know, you learn it step by step, and you just get better. I mean, what's exciting is, I mean, I am still a new director, but I'm already seeing how I'm editing in my head better. Like, oh, I know I don't need this. I'm not going to be on this here in the final cut, where a couple years ago, I think I would just,
for insurance, just make sure
overshoot, you know, and just, I mean, it's really exciting. I mean, it's a lot more responsibility, but it's really exciting. And when you get to work,
and when you're shooting, when we were shooting with you, you would say, "Oh, I got it. That's just what I need." You know, you came in knowing exactly what you needed, and I know that we all feel this way. But an actor's greatest gift on set is to work with the directors, or an actor's director, somebody who knows the language, somebody who knows how to speak with us, how to bring it out with us, so that we're together on it instead of fighting. You made me a better actor in this, because I knew your eyes were keeping me safe, that if I made a bad choice, that you would go, let's just do it again. And you would always come up with these little things, you know, in my ear, trying that. And it was like, oh yeah, I love that. Let's try it that way. And you were just really patient. You made the set very calm for us. And I remember especially there was one scene that took us so long. Do you remember that? Wasn't it our last day of the kids filming, at least, where we had the night scene, the dinner scene on all day long. And yes, and we, of course, and the little girls in this were phenomenal little actors. Like, they knew my lines. They knew everybody's lines better than me. You remember that? And,
yes.
And so we had to shoot one side of it at the beginning, and then we had to shoot everybody. And it was a really heavy emotional scene for me. I had to shoot everybody else out because the little girls had to go. And then we got back to my close-ups. And Kimberly and Erica, I remember watching you on that too. You gave me so much support. It was like, I just remember, Erica, I remember you seeing, your eyes were just like that when I was doing it. And Kimberly, you too, you had such patience with me. And it was one of the best times I've ever had on a set. I just felt so good doing this work. And do you remember, let us not forget what we did. We worked it through this epic hurricane that was up there. Okay, so who wants to talk about the hurricane? I don't know.
The atmospheric rivers.
We got our days, we got everything, and there seriously was a hurricane. How strong were those winds and rain?
I don't know.
Very, very strong.
I just remember watching the pasture and all the water rising. Remember?
Yeah,
and
everywhere we filmed, there was a flood except our set. So,
we were filming.
We were the only ones untouched by two atmospheric rivers, a flood, and a hurricane. Like,
yeah.
I felt very lucky. I felt like my mom was shining down from heaven and be like, okay, this is my baby show. I'm gonna like arrange some stuff. But we really lucked out. Like, days that we were exterior, it would be okay. And days we were interior, we'd look out the window and like trees were flowing by. Like, we really, really, really lucked out.
Yeah.
But can I go back, Barbara? Can I go back to one thing? I mean, you were saying all these wonderful, sweet things about me directing, and then you just blew past. And what I wanted to say is that you guys, you actors, if you had not been so open and on it and respectful and good, like, this sounds weird, but I just have so much pride listening to Eric and Kim talk about how well they know their characters. I mean, that's a huge gift. I mean, and you, Barbara, like that scene, I felt really terrible that we had to do your stuff at the end of the night, but you were just dialed in and everybody had those moments. You know, these movies, we shoot them pretty quickly. And if you are not invested, you are not on your stuff, it can be really, really difficult. And the only reason this movie is so good is because y'all were so good. So I just want to say, I'm just guiding what you're giving. You know, I'm just, you know, if you gave me nothing to guide, then we'd have a problem. I'm just adjusting what you all bring. I mean, and I mean that honestly. So I just wanted to say, you know, and Lindsey too, and the whole cast, not just us girls, but it was a huge cast. It was a huge cast.
It was a huge cast. And I for one, would just die to be able to do a series with all of you guys together. So can you imagine showing up together every day and just loving going to work? We'd kill it. So Hallmark, are you listening?
Do you know what I wanted to add to that for the entire cast? Because often we get into a thing and we're talking about, you know, your main characters, but I really felt it was very ensemble. And what I enjoyed about it, and it can be like this in Christmas movies, and maybe people don't realize this, but if you don't have a group of people that are willing to jump in, right? With you in some things that can feel false and foolish, but like jump into the Christmas party. And that's what our guys did, you know, all three of them supporting us in our character roles, but they did it with such, you know, they were such gentlemen, and they did it with such grace, and they were like so into being a part of this big ensemble. And that isn't always, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but that isn't always the case when you're dealing with a lot of different actors and moving parts and stuff like that. And I just thought, oh man, it was so cool. Whether it was like the dinner scene where it goes on and on and on, and you have to kind of try to find things to laugh about, and people aren't engaged in it. I mean, you can feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, you know, unless you have acting partners and scene partners that are willing to jump into that.
That are really listening and invested with you as you go through everything. Yeah. Over
so
and over and over again.
Matthew. Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Barbara, I have a question for you.
What?
Well, really? Suzanne struggles with her own challenges of wanting to protect her daughters from a family tragedy and ensure they follow their dreams. Can you talk a little bit about what you love most about playing Suzanne and the journey she goes on without too many spoilers?
Yeah. I think Suzanne had a real love of this whole movie takes place in Alaska, which I think people are going to love to see. And part of it we shot in Squamish up in the mountains. So it's a little bit outside the normal location for a Hallmark movie. And my character, Suzanne, used to be a mountain climber and take people up, and just was this macho, you know, kind of strong woman. And then a tragedy happens, and her dream just gets crushed because of all her guilt that she feels. And she just stuffs it down. And so by stuffing it down, I don't think she gives all of herself to her family and to her girls, even though she talks about, you know, follow your dream, honey, do this, do that, and forgive and all this stuff, but she's not ever forgiven herself. And so I find that maybe we do that in life. We're really good at giving advice to somebody else, but it's really hard to really sit still enough with your heart and your own whatever craziness inside to really resolve that for yourself. And the journey that Suzanne goes on as she's told by somebody else to finally forgive herself, that was a great moment for me too. I think we have to learn to do that for ourselves more. And so I loved that part of her story, because we all have things that that we don't feel good about, but until we move past that, we don't just squash them down, we can't move on. And we can't be all we need for everybody else either. So I think that was a lesson. I always learn something from a character, and that's one thing I take from her. That's one thing I take from her. And I love my husband in this too, because he's just okay. He's a support system. He just wants it to be okay for her. And she just keeps going, I'm fine. 60. Don't talk about turning 60, but it's not. I think at some point in your life, it all comes to a culmination, and you've got to deal with all those things that you stuffed down. And man, once you get past that, once it bursts that bubble and it keeps you sick, it's just brilliant. It's been in my own life, and I hope that's what people take from this. Because
they will.
I hope so.
I know they will. You're so vulnerable. You're so good in this movie.
Oh, thank you. I felt her, and I felt like it was a safe place. Well, you guys, ladies, we can talk forever about this stuff, and you know we can talk. But right now, we want to wrap up with something that is really fun that we do on these social lives. We have a rapid fire game of this or that inspired by a movie. So each of you quickly pick the option that you like best. All right. Kimberly, would you like to throw a party for your birthday or plan a vacation for your birthday?
Plan a vacation for my birthday.
Huh? Like where?
Mexico or France or Greece.
Oh, I love it. Good girl. Okay, Erica, go on a family trip or have a family reunion at home.
Oh, family reunion at home. I just did that at Christmas with my brother and sister, and it was amazing.
I'm a homebody too. Okay, Ali, axe throwing or hiking?
Axe throwing.
I knew gonna say that.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, which, by the way, you will see some of in our movie, which is why they're pointing this out. So we have lumberjacks, we have female lumberjacks, we have the whole shebang. So watch it with your family because it's going to be fun. Okay, everybody, take a family walk by a river or stay in and play charades.
Walk by
Charades.
Huh? Okay, cookies or cake?
Neither.
Both.
cookies.
Chip girl.
Hot cocoa or hot cider?
Cider.
Hot cocoa.
Cider.
How about some
Preferably
hot wine?
with alcohol in it.
Yeah, exactly. Host a family dinner or plan a family movie night?
Movie night.
I think both together. You eat first and then you move to the
Yeah,
couch.
combine
right?
it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Can we do another call together, you guys, and keep in touch, please? I miss you like crazy. I thought about you over the holidays, and I just miss you. And
Miss you too.
we can't wait to share this movie with you. It's about home, it's about family, and it's about truth and being who you're meant to be and sharing your dreams. So please join us this Sunday night, January 9th at, what is it? Is it 9 o'clock? It's 9 o'clock, right? Only on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So please join us, and we can't wait. And I'm going to be live tweeting. Are you guys going to do that too?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
show.
gonna try.
something.
I'm gonna try to do the
try.
tweets.
I'll figure it
I
out.
know, put the babies to bed a little early or keep them busy doing something, but it makes it so much fun to share the whole experience with you guys. We love you so much for watching and sharing it with us. So use hashtag North to Home and at Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and we will see you there on Sunday night. Thank you so much. We love you.
Bye.
Call your mom tonight or call your family tonight and see what you can do. And this year, in this new year, please lead with love and protect each other and be kind. We love you.